welcome one, welcome all to tonight's exciting matchup here in San Jose, where the 4-2 San Jose Flight are going to be taking on the 2-4 Philadelphia Cougars. I'm going to be your play-by-play caller for tonight, DJ Kilgannon, joined in the booth by Brett Killian. In the back at SFLm HQ, we have Alex West for tonight, and we have a thrilling game lined up for you this evening. The Flight coming off a huge win last week, and they're looking to continue that momentum. At 2-1 at home, they've been strong here in front of their fans. Meanwhile, the Cougars, who sit at 2-4, have had their struggles, especially on the road. They've yet to pick up a win away from home, sitting at 0-2 in these matchups. So with the Cougars hoping to break their road woes and the Flight looking to extend their winning streak, the stage is set for what should be an exciting contest. Stick with us for what promises to be an action-packed game right here on the Virtual Football Network. Brett, pleasure to have you here. What are you thinking about tonight's matchup?
So the main thing I want to see is how Philly performs on the road. You talked about those struggles, DJ, about those road games. They've only played 2 of them, and they've both been losses. Can they turn things around? Can they get that offense going like they did last week against New York?
Yeah, I think you're right, Brett. I think that's really going to be a telltale sign for things to come in this one. Looks like we're going to have Philadelphia starting on offense, and let's welcome them out, shall we? Mike Skamizniak leading the front under center. You have Rashawn Williams, Jesse Fretz, and John Osmosis in the backfield. Toby Bonnets, Jamar Shelton, LaDan McBrownski as your receivers, and we'll get to the rest after this play. Skamizniak going to be right under center with a back to his left and 3 out wide. Going to be motioning one across the field. That's Toby Bonnets coming from right to left to meet in the middle of those 2 receivers. Heavy set look on the line for San Jose as Skamizniak's going to hand it right up the middle, and only for a gain of 2 after getting met by the likes of Bobby Green.
Yeah, and they're looking to get a guy like Rashawn Williams involved early. Philadelphia prides in their run game. They always try to aim for that over 100-yard per game number in the rush attack because they want to have that dual threat offense.
Absolutely. Skamizniak going to drop back, a lot of pressure, but he's going to find Toby Bonnets on the right side. He's going to break a tackle. He's crossed midfield to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown early for the Philadelphia Cougars as Toby Bonnets crosses the goal line.
And sometimes that is the price you pay when you bring the house. And it was just one-on-one coverage, and it was completely dominated. Toby Bonnets did absolutely no work whatsoever, just pushed his guy through to get open and had wide open space on the right side of the field. That is the start you want if you're Philadelphia, especially against a raucous San Jose crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about bringing it on the road, Brett. My goodness, Philly starting it off strong, and my goodness, what a start. Didn't even get to finish the offense or start on the defense, and looking good already going into the half against a really strong San Jose defense.
Then San Jose is going to have to respond in kind, but man, DJ, we're not even a full minute in. We already got a first score of the game.
Wow. If you had that on your bingo card, shouts to you, because I certainly did not. To bring the big boot out here, going to kick it down to the 5. He's going to take it out past the 20, going to get brought down. He's going to break a tackle. Oh, he slips through another one, going to get brought down around the 33s for San Jose. Now let's try and get through an offense, shall we? Brady White going to be leading the charge for the Flight. Ace Ketchum, Aunt Tim, and Speedy Gonzalez in the backfield. Victor Rojas, who's just been electric all season. Luis Caduti, Aiden Texera, and Kevin Parker are your receivers. Rodney Smith, Sanj Singh, going to fill out your tight end spots. Rachel Menner, Queen Porter, and Sarah Bergens going to make up your offensive line for the Flight.
I'm really looking for that White to Rojas connection if I'm San Jose, because they had a massive game against New York just a few weeks back and then really died down against Boston, just 49 yards.
Oh, and talk about dying down as Brady White is going to get dropped on a hard hit from that left side.
Yeah, that was Don Rohr, the returning player, coming in to get basically no time for White to get that football down. And you always got to be weary about any blindside hits if you're the quarterback, because you go down the wrong way, you could be out for the rest of the game.
Yeah, absolutely could. Thankfully, he's up and back under center for this next snap, and we don't have anyone in the backfield. And now, speak of Victor Rojas, he's going to get brought to that left side of the field with a pretty heavy set box for the Cougars. White's going to drop back, three-step drop. He's got plenty of time to throw. He's going to fire to the left side, and he's going to find Victor Rojas between two men, bringing it already across midfield.
Yeah, and Rojas is the guy that, you know, had back-to-back-to-back 100-yard performances and then really didn't get much involvement in the 24-17 victory against Boston last week. Like I said, just the 49 yards. So you want to hit him early, you want to hit him often so that the San Jose offense clicks and is in high heat.
Absolutely, Brett. That's a great way to put it. You know, it's kind of been slow lately, like you said, but we know Rojas is capable of those big games. And now again, we have an empty set in the backfield. White going to be under center, going to take a five-step drop. He's going to move to his right with pressure. He's going to find nothing over the left side of the field, batted down for an incompletion. Nice play by the defense, and we'll introduce that defense. Michael Percoco, Rose Steele, Don Rohr, who had that big sack, and L.J. Hobbs make up your defensive line. Nixon Cooper, Zachary Babineau, and Aaron Collins going to be your linebackers. Miranda Dumas, Eaton Moss going to be your corners, and Kronk Worthy and Kev Say Jr. going to make up your safeties. Here comes Brady White again under center with no one in the backfield. A heavy set offensive line for him. Going to take a five-step drop. Plenty of time. He's going to fire to the left side of the field and find Rojas again. There goes that connection early.
Here's something interesting that I'm starting to see out of San Jose, DJ. Brady White only threw 20 pass attempts last week, and now this is the fourth straight drop back that White has had in this game, and we've only had 4 plays in the drive. So I think San Jose is going to have a more pass-happy offense than what we saw against Boston.
Yeah, it was pulled out a really close win, and maybe a little closer than they would have liked. So maybe change it up a little bit as White's going to drop back again, a five-step drop. More time to throw. He's going to throw over the middle and find a man for the touchdown. It's Luis Caduti.
Man, and you talk about connections. And right now, Brady White is finding his guys. He looked at Rojas a couple times, got some major gains. Tried to get Kevin Parker, the Week 5 signing, couldn't get that through. And then goes with his reliable, the guy that he's had connections with since the start of this season in Caduti, and gets a connection at the end zone. That's the response you want to have when Philly strikes first. San Jose on the board.
Absolutely, and what a one-handed catch on that one. And Brett, we got 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first, and it's 7-7.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes already, DJ. If it stays like this, we're gonna have 80 points on the board.
Yeah, it's already looking to be a very, very exciting game for these two squads. And Philly, like you said, they're on the road. They got to try and put their mark in this one and bounce back. Not having a great season so far. And San Jose tied for first in the league. It's really just tied first and tied second.
That's essentially what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You got a pair in 4-2 records and a pair of 2-4 records. And if you're San Jose, we know that they were watching New York and Boston earlier. And Boston, if they took the loss, New York was able to pull out their win. And if San Jose loses tonight, that'll put them second overall in the league. And now let's see if I can get through this offense before they blow down the field and score again. At our tight ends, we've got Goose Busters and Jonathan Kilgore for the Cougars. And the offensive line is going to be Leo Chang, Astro Smith, and Big Scott Calvin. Now, here comes Mike Skamizniak, looking ready as ever. Going to be under center with a strong right look to his right. Going to have 2 to the right as well as far as receivers go. And he's going to motion out a back. That's John Osmosis going to the tight end spot on that right side. He's going to hand it off to the right side, and he is going to meet Bobby Green after just a short gain of 1.
Yeah, and Philadelphia has these young running backs in their lineup with Rashawn Williams, the Week 2 signing, and then most recently Jesse Fretz coming in Week 6. So they want to get them some touches to at least get those reps in. But right now, if I'm looking at Philly's offense, that pass game, you had one great completion already.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, they're going to go back to it, and they're going to find a receiver on that side. It's going to be Jonathan Kilgore bringing in the catch in traffic right on the sideline.
Yeah, and Philly, you look at it, all young talents. So if you're going to go find reliable options, you find those SFL players that are playing double duty. Jonathan Kilgore is going to be that perfect guy, and he is a huge target to look at. 6'6", 265, basically a human wall. Yeah. Right in front of you, and he's got hands to show that he is a true tight end in this league.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And now Skmizniak going to be under center, going to hand it off right up the gut to Osmosis. Going to be met just after a very short game.
Yeah, and what Osmosis has to learn is that he can't trust too much in his offensive line to push forward, because there's going to be a lot of lines, even in the major leagues, that don't push forward as much as you think. He's got to find a way to get space himself.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have one offset back in the backfield, and they're going to pitch it to him to that right side. And that's going to be Rashawn Williams, who has had a really solid season so far, especially last game.
Yeah, the last game that he put in, it was 73 yards and three touchdowns. It was in a losing effort. That's because New York was just on a whole different level in that pass game.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have a bunch to one side. Skmizniak going to find his back over the middle of the field. It's going to be Jesse Fretz, the Week 6 signing, getting involved in the passing game. But unfortunately for them, unable to cross the yards to gain, going to make it 4th down.
And it's not in field goal range for the Miners. This would end up being around a 51-yarder still. So Philly's going to punt this football away. And now San Jose has an opportunity to take the lead.
Yeah, and when I started calling these minor league games, it really put into perspective for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, really just how important those special team guys are. Because in some regards, that's 3 points right there. If you have a good enough kicker back there, but it's got to be really close down here in the minors to make sure you're going to be able to put it through the uprights.
Yeah, and even then in the SFL, not every single team has a chance to win who could boot it from 50 plus.
For sure.
So that's still a tough position to get in. So in the minors, I would say a guaranteed range would be probably at the round of 25.
Yeah, absolutely. Brady White going to be under center again with another empty backfield. Going to drop back 3 steps, plenty of time to throw. He can make a sandwich. Going to look to the left side of the field. He's going to find Son Singh for only a 3-yard gain.
And you said he dropped back and had enough time for a sandwich. What kind of sandwich do you think Brady White would make?
Brady White, he seems like a bologna guy. Me personally, I hate bologna.
But I love bologna. I grew up with bologna.
It's just not for me. I don't know. I don't know what it is. You probably
think of it as a flat hot dog.
I don't know if that grosses me out more or makes me more comforted. And Brady White going to pitch it to the left side, and my goodness, Ace Ketchum is going to get leveled, bringing it to the 3rd and 3 after that tough run.
Now, shocking enough, DJ, that the 7th play of San Jose's offense tonight is their first run of the game, because you've got guys like Ace Ketchum and Speedy Gonzalez that are established running backs in the SFL majors.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to go back to that run again, and unfortunately for them, unable to get past the sticks. A huge stop there from Aaron Collins.
Yeah, and Ant Tim, he's been a guy that's been stepping up week after week and has slowly started to improve himself, but it just wasn't enough. Had a couple yards left to go, was short 1 yard, and now we're seeing ourselves some punt contests here.
Yeah, just see who can punt it farther after those very quick, explosive first drives. Going to go back to a pair of punts. And now,
sometimes that's not a bad thing, DJ.
No, definitely not. You got to at least rest our voices up here, because if we had bomb after bomb after bomb, I know my voice would be gone by at least the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, we would have to switch roles by the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I know that's right. That's Skmizniak going to be under center. Has one offset to the right. They had the pitch come out of this look the last time. Let's see if they go back to it. They're not. They're going to hand it off up the middle to Rashawn Williams, and he just meets a wall. And, oh, that's an injury. Oh, wow. That is a huge loss. That's
Denver stalwart Luis Quintana that's down as well, and he's leading the way in the linebacking core, because you've got Frodo Laggins and Bobby Green in that linebacking core, much younger than Quintana, who's already got 3 seasons in the league. So that's a big loss to the linebacking core.
Yeah, absolutely is. Last week he had himself an interception to literally seal the game and give them the win last week, and losing him, that's going to be huge. Hopefully he recovers well. As Jamar Shelton going to motion over to the right side, going to drop back, a lot of pressure, but all he finds is the hands of a San Jose flight member, and unable to haul that one in is Amonte Dubois-Smith.
Yeah, he was very close to getting that pick. If there was anyone, in that major league, that was a guaranteed interception. But we have to remember, younger players, not as experienced, sometimes the hands aren't there. I'm sure Dubois-Smith will get that within the next couple weeks.
Oh, absolutely. Going to go have that bunch look to the left side, and he's going to pump fake, but break his sack. No.
Oh, no.
Oh,
He's
no.
down. Oh, no.
We talked about trading punts, trading injuries now. Quintana and now Skamizniak going down. Oh my gosh, talk about a hard sack.
Now, that one's probably even a bigger loss because
Yeah.
Skamizniak is that field general of the squad, and now you have to really trust in your young running back core to try to carry the load a little bit here because, you know, next man up, the quarterbacks aren't going to be the same. They're not going to have the same chemistry.
Yeah, not at all. And, you know, the only other time we saw a non-contracted quarterback take field was in week 1 for Boston, where Jimmy Beans led the charge for the Boston Rebels, and it came out with a loss. So Philadelphia, you know, crossing their fingers, hoping Mike Skamizniak will be able to return to action very, very soon.
Jimmy Beans, are you sure you haven't, you know, dusted the old alcohol cabinet out there and you're just saying random name?
You'd be surprised, Brett. Everybody in the chat's going to give it up for Jimmy Beans in just a few seconds. Watch.
Okay.
Now Brady White going to go back and shotgun with one to his left. He's got 2 receivers out to the right, one to the left. He's going to pitch it to that left side. A really nice block by 56, but only for a gain of 2.
Yeah, one of the rare plays that we see out of shotgun is the toss. You don't see it all too often. Most of the time you see, you know, a sweep play or even an inside zone, but you don't see the toss that often. So sometimes you can get that defense, you know, kind of whirling around, but the Philly did well on that.
Yeah, they did. They did a really good job of reading it out. They definitely did their homework coming into this one. They're going to motion out Rojas a little bit farther to the left. Brady White's going to drop back. He's going to find Rojas to the left side after a little post route for the first down.
Yeah, and that was Philly's D-backs just pushing a little bit too far back. They're more so worried about that deep zone, and that was just a simple, you know, route from Rojas to get open space, and there was more open space on that field for Rojas than, you know, incorrect questions I'd have on a psychology test.
Yeah, plenty of room to make that completion. And now, going to go back to that, you know, empty backfield look as Brady White's going to slip on the field, and he's going to find a Cougar. Aaron Collins, who had a huge play earlier, going to haul in that interception.
Man, and that's a big, big momentum swing for Philly because, you know, Skamizniak is currently down. They need their defense to step up in order. It just in case Philly can't really get that scoring back on track until Skamizniak gets back. And that's where you want to start things off. You want to get interceptions. You want to shake the foundation and the core of that San Jose offense.
Yeah, and they certainly did on that one. They're going to have a bunch to the right with 4 corners, all in a, looks like they're playing Red Rover over there, all holding hands in coverage. And one's going to follow the tight end in motion, go across the other side of the field. That's going to tell.
That's tight end on safety. I'd be looking at him.
Oh, and that's just nothing. No room at all. Just going to find a Monte Dubois Smith right in the hole for a loss.
I mean, Philly's doing the right thing and going with the run game first to settle in their new quarterback. But at this point, you got to look at those mismatches as well. Like I said, tight end on strong safety, you've got to take that one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd love to see the adjustment be made. And here comes the backup, throwing a nice pass. He finds him, and he has plenty of room to run after the great block. And he's riding the sideline. It's Jonathan Kilgore as he finally gets pushed out of bounds.
And honestly, sometimes the most simplest of dump passes can turn into something spectacular, even in the minor leagues. It was just a well-placed ball, and Kilgore had a great block to get to the sidelines. 2 great blocks to get himself moving. And what was that, DJ? Probably 30, 35 yards after the catch. Yeah. That's nuts from a tight end and a big one like Kilgore.
Yeah, very good way to get your new QB involved. And shout out to Jamar Shelton. He was the one that had that huge block to set up that play. Here comes the backup QB again. All he's going to find is a San Jose flight, and he's taking off down the left-hand side. He has a little bit of room to run before he finds the big offensive lineman who push him out of bounds. And I think that's the backup that took the place of Luis Quintana on that defense.
I was just going to say that. I think that is Quintana's replacement. Wow. So next man up, and boom, he makes an impact right away with an interception on what felt like Philadelphia grabbing great momentum after the Kilgore catch, and now San Jose back on the momentum train, trying to get their first lead of the game.
Yeah, it's just things can switch so fast here in the SFLm, and we see it right there. Now Brady White going to be under center again with an empty backfield to his name. Going to drop back. He's going to have some time. He's going to fire over the middle, and all he's going to find is Luis Quaduti in coverage, but thankfully able to hold on to that one for a first down.
Yeah, and Brady White has the right now the benefit of having so many receivers to choose from in terms of his weaponry. And Rojas and Koduti are probably going to be the first two guys he looks at. DJ, I have to say right now, we're not even done this first quarter. We've seen 2 scores, 2 injuries, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, 2 interceptions, 2 punts, 2 injuries, 2 everything. I mean, golly, it's just exciting. That's what we got down here in the SFLm. And now Brady White going to drop back again. He's going to roll to his right a little bit. He's going to find one over the middle, but it's going to be incomplete. Great coverage there from the corner, Miranda Dumas.
Yeah, it was just a well-timed hit as well, because any earlier that would have been pass interference. So Dumas doing a great job finding her man, making sure that she tackles him at the right time, and making sure the penalty doesn't occur.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Now Brady White going to have someone in the backfield. Just one, though, and they're going to motion the tight end to the other side of the field. That's going to be Rodney Smith, the SFL reinforcement coming down from the major leagues. Makes his way to the left side. Brady White's going to drop back, survey the field. He's going to pump fake once, finds more time, and he finds a Cougar in the middle of the field. And again, showing that display of, not being able to hold on to the interception there.
Yeah, and sometimes what I feel bad for certain linebackers is that immediately whenever I see a linebacker in the game, I think of Stone Hands Jeff Gagne, and he's a guy that always had struggles trying to grab interceptions. And every time I see those instances, oh, that's a Jeff Gagne moment.
Yep. I mean, I feel the same way when I watch myself play every week. And now Brady White's going to haul it over the middle of the field, and he's going to look for Rojas in a sea of Cougars, and it's going to fall incomplete.
And interestingly enough, DJ, that was almost caught by Rojas too. That was on it. That was on his hip for a good second, and then it jarred loose. So that was an almost spectacular play from San Jose.
And now here we go with another punt from the flight. Really solid defense now from Philadelphia. They're doing a really good job of, shutting. I mean, Victor Rojas has had a few, pretty big catches, but for the most part, they're doing a nice job of, holding them down. And of course, it's only the first quarter. Plenty of ball left to be played, but so far doing solid.
And right now, if you think this game hasn't had excitement in this first quarter, I don't know what game you've been watching, because all 9 minutes so far has been nothing but.
Mm-hmm. Now it's Kamizniak going to be back in this pitch look that they went to earlier. He's going to be under center, going to have one back in the back, offset to his right. They're going to hand it off up the middle again to Williams, and again is going to be met by Bobby Green. And speaking of Bobby Green, let me finally introduce the San Jose Flight defense. On that D-line, you have Jack Big Boss, Chloe Meerkat, Peter Merck, and Harley Wilson. Linebackers is Luis Quintana, who is injured. Number 52 is filling his spot for now. Frodo Laggins, Bobby Green going to be your linebackers. We'll get to the rest after this play. Now it looks like the same formation, but flipped now. Skamizniak going to call for that motion. Farmost left receiver going to be Jamar Shelton, making his way to the right. He'll survey the defense on a 4-man front. He's going to pitch it out to the left. It's Rashawn Williams, and he has a little bit of room before he gets met by the defender.
No, I like that plan from Philly. They had the guy motioned onto the right, and they decided to toss left. A little bit of a misdirect play, and it got decent yardage. But now they're going to end the quarter trying to figure out if they can get past that 3rd and 2.
Yeah, now that was your first quarter of action. I am DJ Kilgannon on your play-by-play. With me is Brett Killian. Almost said Brett Kilgannon. My goodness.
I'm not your brother yet, brother.
You are not. Brett Killian doing analyst for me tonight. Welcome to quarter 2. This is the Simulation Football League Minor League, brought to you by the Virtual Football Network. All right, now we have our backup quarterback, who I still don't know the name of yet. Going to take it under center. He's going to pitch it off to the right. That's going to be Rashawn Williams. He finds his way through a sea of people to bully his way for the first down, and now finish off this this defense finally. The defensive backs, we have Steven Goodman, one of the other Goodmans in the league, Dustin Sakasi, Ramnar Sudi, and Amante Dubois Smith filling out your defensive backs for the Flight. The quarterback's going to hand it off up the middle again, and it's just going to be another pretty short run. That time, it was Jesse Fretz, the Week 6 signing, getting involved.
Yeah, and again, establish that run, get that comfortability from your new quarterback that's in exchange for Skamiezniak's injury, and just make him comfortable. That's all you can do in a game that's already tied like this.
Absolutely, and maybe with the loss of Luis Quintana, maybe it makes them want to run a little bit more because he's their stalwart back, or their linebacker, excuse me, and he's very often the one that brings down these backs after short gains. And now Bobby Green, Frodo Lagan's going to have to try and fill that role that Luis usually does fill.
I would normally agree with that, but they've been going with tosses and with stretch runs instead of going on the inside where Quintana usually is.
Yeah. Now we're going to be under center again, just one back in the backfield. Doubles look to the left as he's going to break the sack and fire it over the middle. It's caught. What a catch there from Toby Bonnet, and some heart from the backup quarterback to break that first sack.
And that's crazy because, again, off that blind side, it's almost the most guaranteed sack that most defensive ends would have. But the quarterback just sheds him off like it's a cold he doesn't want. Yeah. And he just throws it to Bonnets, which was, again, picture perfect to have as a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to drop back again. He's going to fire it over the middle, and again, it is caught. Wow, that time by Jamar Shelton.
Man, and looking at him first, you think he was a tight end as well, but he's got the speed. He's got the speed to be a wide receiver at 6'6". I mean, he's taller than me, and I've been asking Cam for years to make me 6'6", and now we've already got 6'6" receivers. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, they can't buff you that much. I think the league would just implode, honestly.
That's true.
Now they're going to go back to this offset look again. Quarterback going to be under center with one to his right. He's going to hand it off the middle up again. And Rashawn Williams is going to fight for yardage, getting a gain of 7.
Yeah, I can sense that it's going to be a game where we're going to highlight Rashawn Williams a lot, especially if Skamiziak is down for the rest of the game. We're going to be looking at a lot of carries going Williams' way.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially with the injury to the quarterback. And again, we see a run right up the middle. And again, a nice solid run. Jesse Fretz getting involved a little bit more.
And really, this is perfect time for Philadelphia to be going on these inside runs, especially since they started off this first quarter. A lot of outside runs, a lot of stretches and tosses. Now they're going to the inside, telling San Jose we have more than one way of handing off the football, and it's working out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rashawn Williams and Jesse Fretz, they have some pretty big shoes to fill. Frank Udon was the main back in Philadelphia for the first week or two of the season, and he was by far the most dominant the league had seen that year. Had games of 150 plus, almost 200, and right there, a huge tackle for loss, right as the ball is getting to Rashawn Williams.
Yeah, and that line piled up pretty quick in one area for Philadelphia, so it just felt inevitable in that play, at least, that a San Jose lineman was going to get to the running back.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see this offset look again, but they're going to motion across the field. It's going to be Kilgore, going to the other side, and the quarterback's going to fire to the right side. Kilgore, what a throw from the backup, threading the needle to perfection.
And that's got to take some guts, especially it's not just because you're throwing it at a 6'6" tight end, but you're trying to arc that ball over 2 defenders in that area too. You had 2 guys reaching for the football, and he placed that only where Kilgore could get the football. That is some veteran composure for a backup minor league player. That's fantastic stuff. Philadelphia finds 6 again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not to mention 2 people there, 2 SFL reinforcements, Cronkworthy and Eaton Moss on that side of the field, just barely unable to stop that one. And I mean, how could you? It was a fantastic throw. I mean, Kilgore the only one that could reach it. Sometimes just doesn't work out, even with a backup on the field, able to carve that one and get 6. Now the big boot's going to come back onto the field, going to kick it off. Landing about the 10-5, he's going to bring it out, gets tackled at the 32. San Jose, they're going to come back onto the field, hoping they can fire back. And, after those first two, huge drives, those huge bombshell possessions, it's been a little bit slower on the offensive side before that drive.
Yeah, I want to look at what San Jose starts off on this drive. It looks it's going to be back to pass,
Yeah.
and the pass game has kind of gotten cold over the last, 5 or 6 attempts here.
Yeah, that it has. And Brady White going to go back to it. Going to drop back and find Rojas to the left. And we've been waiting for it. And it finally connects, and there we go.
Yeah, and Rojas is going to be the guy that should be looked at first. He is basically your spark plug to the offense, and it's the right guy to look at. Jumps over Miranda Dumas to get the catch and had extra yardage because basically shook her out of her cleats afterwards. Great work from Rojas, and that's probably the medicine that San Jose needs to cure that offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to go to that empty look again, and he's going to fire it. And just a little bit too far forward there, trying to find Luis Caduti over the middle.
And it's finding his right guys, but this time probably tossed that ball a little bit too early. I don't think Caduti was ready completely for that throw, so he was about a step behind. But they can reset for second down.
Yes, they can, and that they will. Go into a very similar look, though. They're really relying on this empty backfield tonight with the heavy line, and now they're going to change it up a little bit, motioning Sanj Singh to the left side of the field from that tight end spot, making it 3 receivers to the left side of the field. Brady White going to drop back, plenty of pressure, and he's going to fire it to Victor Rojas on the left side of the field again. Now we're seeing that connection that we know.
Yeah, a little bit of a gun straight that we're seeing from San Jose, and it seems to be a little bit more favorable for White. Because against that zone defense, you got to find those pockets, and White's finding the right guys, and Rojas is definitely being a benefactor in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely is. And, trying to press coverage against Rojas is not always going to work out. Now Brady White's going to fire to the right side. It's going to be a great defensive play there from Eaton Moss, able to slap that one away.
Yeah, and what Philadelphia needs to do is they need to make sure that San Jose isn't, hitting them with those explosive plays. They've done it twice now on them. Now you have to think as a defensive crew, let's slow things down. Let's make sure, especially against this gun ace formation, you've got a lot of people on the line. You've got 2 tight ends to worry about. You've got to just focus in on maybe just getting those pass deflections and force them to reset.
Yeah, absolutely. Now after Rojas goes to the right side, he's going to find him right over the middle again in traffic. Rojas is going to hold on to it.
We've seen that a couple times. It looks to be maybe like a gun ace doubles or maybe a gun ace trips that we're seeing from San Jose, and it's really starting to pay off on this drive. I think they're starting to get more comfortable with this formation. Now they're going to go with look to be quads.
Yep. Going to be quads on this one again, back in the empty backfield. Going to fire it very quick after the hike, and Caduti is going to get plenty of room to run after the catch, bringing it down to 1st and goal, maybe around the 3.
And right now, this pass game has been really effective, not only with just, the switching of formations every now and again, but it's so many receivers that Philly's defense has to worry about. And as much as Philly has been trusting on Kilgore, they've been really trying to focus on making sure that Smith and Singh don't burn them the same way, and that's what's killing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just leaving their main receivers a little bit too much room, and that time there's going to be no room at all to run it in. I think it's going to make it right at the 1. Yeah, looks like it. They have a few more chances from here. You got to think they're going to be able to punch it in, but only time will tell. Now, looks like assuredly going to be a run with a very heavy defensive set in front of you. Brady White going to snap it, hand it off to his right. He bounces off a man, and it is a touchdown for Ace Ketchum.
And that was just a complete shift. Once they got in the goal line situation, they said, you know what? We're going to bunch everyone in. We're going to go with a goal line eye, and we're just going to run this football. First time, didn't work. Second time, they go with Ketchum. They go with the faster option in their running back core. They get to the end zone, and that's the response you want if you're San Jose. Extra point away from tying this up again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just situational football, really. I mean, they switch and they go to that run look when they need to, and it works to perfection. Brett, you know how many likes we have on tonight's broadcast?
If it's under 10,000, then it's not enough.
That is right. Not enough at all. Everybody at home, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you have your notification bell on so you won't miss a minute of SFL and SFLm action, and help the channel grow through your support. Now, ball's back in Philadelphia's hands. And they got the backup quarterback still in, I'd imagine, at least if Mike Skamizniak is still unable to come back. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll be able to get an injury report on him come halftime. And I think that says Miller is what that name says. So now at least I have something to call him. Number 15, Miller, is going to be under center now for Philadelphia, and they go back to this I-form look again.
Speaking of alcohol, DJ, it's Miller time.
It is Miller time. They're going to hand it off to Williams. It's Williams time now. But unfortunately for him, Peter Merck again, who really has been having such a quiet performance, but I feel like every time I look up and it's one of those short tackles, he's there making it.
Yeah, and this is what we're going to see to start off Philadelphia drives. We're going to see what Rashawn Williams gives this Philly offense to start off, and then we might see some Miller time in the air.
Absolutely. And they're going to go again to the run to the left side, and again, going to be met short after the line of scrimmage. That's going to be Pauly, number 52. It's going to be a battle of backups here in San Jose tonight.
Yeah, we'll also try to see if there's
Pauly.
any. Yeah, we'll see if there's any update with Luis Quintana as well. But Tommy Pauly is doing pretty well in backup reserve. So great work from him.
Now it's going to be 5 wide for Miller time. He's going to take a step up, and he's going to fire to the left side. And that one's not on him. That's going to be a dropped one for Jamar Shelton. You're not going to see that very often.
Again, fresh guy. He came in week 2, still trying to improve his catching ability, and it looked like it hit the front of his hand instead of in between the bread basket. So that's one of those things where you just have to maybe turn your body a little bit more to grab the catch.
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of matchups, right? Because, it's week in and week out that these guys are playing, and different matchups. You're playing guys that have more experience. You're under bright lights. I mean, Shelton had 125 yards last week, had a very solid game, and that was really one of his breakout performances. And, some things just don't go your way. You're not going to have great games every week.
No, you're not. And you just have to remember that the bad games you do have, you forget about it, but the good games you try to improve on.
Absolutely. Brady White going to do a spin in the pocket and fire it to, I think that was Kadudi. It's going to go off the hand of Kadudi and not able to haul in that one-handed catch like he was the other one. Going to make it 2nd and 10.
What did the kids say, DJ 360 no scope or something like that to try to sling that football?
Yeah, it was certainly a no scope because that one just wasn't on the money. And now going to be back in this look. No one in the backfield. Brady going to take a few steps back, and he's going to fire it to that left side, and that is something you certainly aren't going to see every day of the week. An incomplete, a drop, I should say, from Rojas.
Yeah, and again, we talk about where your hand placement is, and it seemed like the same thing that occurred to that last attempt from Jamar Shelton. It was the front of the hands. Again, turn that body, make sure you can get that football.
Yeah. And any of those young receivers out there, please do take notes. This is Brett Killian talking to you. He's second in about every category you can imagine.
And Eaton Moss with almost an interception. It'll be 4th down coming up. It was overthrown by White there, and now Philly's got an opportunity to take back the lead once again. And DJ, right now we've had great sprinklings of defense, great sprinklings of offense. Like, what more can you ask about this first half?
Yeah, it's just really just a marquee matchup. And that's really one thing I love about the SFLm, Brett. It's just, you see the records, and if you think this is a SFL, a regular SFL matchup, you think, 2-4 and 4-2, this is probably going to be, a slammer. This is probably going to be a blowout. In some instances. But it's 14-14. On the other side of the card, we had a shootout that got decided by the last play of the game. It was a Hail Mary that was incomplete. And now, again, we're having another really good game. It's a different type of football down here, and it's really anyone's game every day of the week. Now Miller time going to hand it off again to Williams. He's going to fumble. Man. Oh, but unfortunately for Philadelphia, Leo Chang is going to be able to pick it up and in a diving way. Look at that Superman out there.
Well, if I could bring in my inner Gerald Smith, go Legion. That's Leo Chang on the offensive line, and that's just what we want from linemen, being ready for any balls
Yeah.
to be dropped on fumbles and get on it if you're not blocking anybody.
Yeah, and even with that fumble, it's going to be a 5-yard gain for them. And now Miller time's going to be again under center. Going to be an I-form look in the backfield where Sean Williams going to take it for a gain of 2. And I like that they're, trusting the ball in his hands again, because that's something you're not going to see very often from Rashawn.
Yeah.
Now that is going to be the 2-minute warning, everybody. This is San Jose and Philadelphia, brought to you by the Virtual Football Network. Welcome back to San Jose. I am DJ Kilgannon. In the booth with me is Brett Killian and, of course, Alex West, your SFLm commissioner, back at HQ. Now, again, we're going to have going to be single back here for Miller time. He's going to drop back, take a few steps. Rashawn Williams going to make a great block, and he's going to find, again, Toby Bonnets on that left side. Toby Bonnets has really been a pretty good safety blanket right now for this backup.
Yeah, and sometimes you need to find that one receiver that's, going to be that safety valve for someone that's coming in mid-game and has to kind of adjust on the fly, and Bonnets has done a great job. And you talk about receivers that are cut from a different cloth. You don't see many 5'11 receivers in the SFL, so he's going to stand out.
Yeah, especially not ones that are making catches in traffic like that. Not very often, at least. And that time, not going to find anything. A ton of pressure there. I think it bounced off a hand of a defensive lineman is what happened there.
Yeah, just the pass being a little bit too low, and that's gonna be the risk factor when you have a shorter quarterback, and you can see it just in front of his offensive lineman. He's shorter than him, so it's gonna be tougher when you're a short quarterback to try to sling it over the heads of your own linemen.
Oh my goodness, and complete domination. And there is Tommy Pauly shooting the gap and bringing Miller time down for the sack.
Man, did Miller even recognize that he had like 0.26 seconds to get that ball off? Because I don't even think he went through his full drop back before he got hit.
Definitely not. That's just got to be some miscommunication by the offensive line. And now looks like they're going to go to a pass, and the reliable Toby Bonnets is going to make his way to the left side of the field. And Miller time going to be under center with a 4-man defensive line for San Jose. Miller time, plenty of time. He's going to fire to the left, and he's going to look for Bonnets, and that one is incomplete. A great play there from Rand Marsudi.
Yeah, and it's tough on a 5-receiver set to try to find your targets, because you're going to have a bunch of defensive backs either in a zone where they're going to cover a lot of area or in man-to-man. So you've got to hit those guys perfectly, and that was pretty close to perfect, I would say.
Yeah, pretty close indeed. Now there's going to be a punt and a fair catch on that one. All right. Now, on the San Jose 23, we're going to have Brady White coming back onto the field. I hear some call him Heisenberg, the way he cooks in the pocket. And now Brady White going to come back to that single back, and Rojas is going to make his way to the left side of the field, joining the other 2 receivers in the formation. Looks like a defensive audible being called by the linebacker. Regardless, Brady White going to drop back and fire it over the middle into a sea of Cougars. Looked like 3 or 4-on-1 coverage there.
Yeah, that one's a tough throw to make. You're trying to, sling that ball and zip it, try to go through defenders. Sometimes you have to find that balance between arc and zip, and I think Brady White just zipped that ball a little bit too much. I think that was intended for Rojas.
I think so. It wouldn't surprise me. And now we're going to see another pass. Brady White going to fire it again over the middle. Home, sweet home. Going to find Sanj Singh, who's having a really solid one.
Yeah, and the tight ends haven't been looked at a lot in this game from San Jose, but they've been open in opportunities, and that was just a nice go route from Sanj Singh, probably one of the most effective routes that you'll see from tight ends. And now you're going to get down to decision time for San Jose. They're getting close to midfield. Do they start throwing it deeper, see if they can use those timeouts and get a field goal?
Yeah, for the formation tells the story, and they're going to find Rojas over the middle. Look to see if we see a timeout here, and maybe not. I mean, with that empty backfield look, I maybe expected a timeout to be called, but I'm not going to find one there, and maybe they're just going to take it into the half, and yeah, it looks like they are. And now we've reached halftime, and it is a very, very even matchup right now. Everybody grab your popcorn if you have it. Now's the time to do so. 14-14, Brett. Let me know what you're thinking.
Well, right now, we've seen a battle of, let's say, two contrasting offenses because Philadelphia's tried to start most of their drives, and this is mainly due to Mike Skamizniak being down, is establishing that run, and that's what's helped the new quarterback, Miller, get comfortable and kind of soothe things offensively, whereas San Jose has been all pass all the time. Brady White already has more pass attempts than he did last week. 23 passes just in this first half alone when he only had 20 last week. So that's going to be key and figure out if the flight continues these passing ways.
And there's your player of the half, Toby Bonnets, unsurprisingly. 3 catches for 97 yards. Now let's take a quick halftime break, and we'll be back. Welcome back, SFL Nation. I am DJ Kilgannon, your play-by-play tonight. With me is Brett Killian, doing analyst, and of course, back at SFLm HQ, Alex West, bringing us all the fancy doodads from there, and going to get brought down after just a short return. Not going to be much there.
Yeah, and maybe since San Jose knew that they were going to get the ball in the second half, that's why we saw the clock run down in that second quarter. And now they're making their adjustments to the second half, but they're starting off what we've seen a lot of already in this game.
Yeah, they're going to go back to this empty look in the backfield. Brady White's going to motion Rojas to the right side of the field with a very heavy defensive line from Philadelphia. He's got some time. He's going to throw it off his back foot and find Rojas on the right side of the field. He's got green grass in front of him. He's going to spin away from a man and get brought down after a huge gain.
You know, and you could tell just on that run alone that Eaton Moss was getting close to Rojas, and that was just a perfectly timed spin move on the diving attempt from Eaton Moss, too. And look at that little deceptive kind of block before the catch, too. That was key in getting Rojas open on the right side, too. So great work from San Jose to start off by essentially flipping the field, and Rojas going back to Victor Rojas style, already close to 175.
Yeah, and that's the type of yards after catch you're going to see from him. Making somebody miss with the great spin there. And yeah, that's what we're used to. Brady White going to fire to the left side. He's going to find a man. It's Aiden Texera with the huge completion.
Yeah, now you're starting to see White get a little bit more comfortable. He had a little bit of a pep talk with Art Vandelay at the halftime break. And, you know, first 2 throws, absolute dots to his receivers, 2 different receivers as well. You have to share that wealth if you're a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely right. And now, Brady White going to be under center again. We're going to see this very familiar empty set. 4 on the defensive line for Philadelphia. But they're going to motion a man into the backfield this time. Brady White's going to drop back and find a man to the left. It's Victor Rojas. Touchdown for the flight.
I think it's clear, DJ, that he has completely forgotten the 4 receptions for 49 yards against Boston. This is a whole different Victor Rojas that has come in compared to last week. He's shaken, you know, that rough game off, and now he has just done things with absolute style. 11 yards, 2 pay dirt, and now San Jose has the lead.
Yeah. You know, came into the halftime, got himself a Miller, and now he's coming back firing at full force. And I mean, this is the Rojas of old. This is what we know. This is what everybody, all these flight fans know and love to come out of Victor Rojas. And now getting a quick score. I mean, I'm getting PTSD from the first half. The first minute and 10 seconds of the half is a touchdown for San Jose, and they're going to boom it back down to Philadelphia. It's going to be fielded out at the 5. He's going to take a run with the ball on the kick return. He's going to get brought down right at the 30, it looks like, by a man. And Let's see if Philadelphia can bounce back.
Well, if it's anything that happened in the first quarter, we're going to see Bonnets with a 70-yarder. Watch out.
Yeah, yeah. Gonna have another bomb. It wouldn't surprise me, not in the slightest. And now, looks like Miller Time is still on the field, and I don't see Quintana either. Looks like they're still in the tent. Now they're going to hand it off right up the middle to Rashawn Williams. Going to have so much room to run, almost killing the ref there as he barrels his way for a first.
And I think that's the first time in this game that Williams had so much open space. It was a great gap block up front by one of the linemen as well, just to get past that second level and give Williams the opportunity to get that first down run.
Yeah, absolutely. And now again, Miller going to be under center. He's going to do the draw play like that call there, and he's going to fight his way for a gain of 9 3/4. Is the runner there, Jesse Fretz.
Yeah, offensive line for Philadelphia has definitely shifted plans to help with this offensive line, to help with the running back core. So great work from Leo Chang, Astro Smith, and Scott Calvin to start off their drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, heavy box here for San Jose, but it doesn't matter. Rashawn Williams going to have plenty of room to run, getting well past the first down.
Yeah, and another good run from Williams. Just had to trust his blockers, find the open space, and get the first down. I think Philly right now is comfortable with just running this football, especially in the single back left here.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to maybe see that pitch again that we saw. And no, they're going to run it right up the middle back to Jesse Fretz. A very nice gain and, more open trenches from this offensive line.
Yeah, and the magic number you want to have as a running back to get that minimum to consider it a good play is those 5 yards. So Fritz is going to tell himself, hey, that's a pretty good run. We set up ourselves pretty good for second down.
Yeah, absolutely. Not every run play needs to break off for 80 yards, 50 yards. These runs right here that chug along for 8 yards, 5 yards, 9 yards that we're seeing consistently right now for Philadelphia is going to do the job.
It's not just, progressing forward well for Philadelphia, but it's tiring that San Jose defense as well, because you're making them more tired trying to get that running back down. And it's especially for those linebackers. And with Philly, they've been definitely quickening the pace in this quarter. So it's not a lot of rest for these linebackers too.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And now finally Miller's going to drop back to pass. Plenty of time. Going to flip it over the middle. And it is caught. That's going to be Goose Busters. Who you going to call with the catch?
When there's something strange in those Philly neighborhoods, Miller Time decides to call Goosebusters, finds himself, oh, we got a first name, DJ. That's Jim Miller.
Jim Miller, there we go. I should have guessed it. That just rolls off the tongue. Jim Miller. Looking like, hopefully, a Philadelphia hometown hero. Maybe the Nick Foles of the Cougars right now, if he can keep charging along like he has been. And Jim Miller going to be under center here, has a back in his backfield. I believe that's Rashawn Williams. Now here comes Jonathan Kilgore, going to motion him to the right side. 2 receivers to his left with a heavy box here from San Jose. Jim Miller's going to drop back. Plenty of pressure there. I believe that, again, is Tommy Pauly on the pressure.
It's good pressure, especially, against a quarterback, not the same quality of Skamizniak, but he's still, playing effective. So you still have to bring the pressure to him, see if he can shake that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good way to do it. Just brings so much pressure that he's overwhelmed, and he's definitely not used to that sort of thing. They're going to motion a man from left to right. One man in the backfield for Jim Miller. He's going to drop back to pass, and he is going to break another sack. Touchdown, Jim Miller in the Philadelphia Cougars. It's Jamar Shelton.
Man, again, we talked about this earlier with Jim Miller. I think that's the second or third time he shed a sack and has made a beautiful throw down the field. This time, finding the big man, Jamar Shelton, in the back of the end zone. Only had him and Dubois Smith around him, and that was just a perfect place throw for Shelton to grab the football. Man, back and forth contest between these two stalwart teams.
Golly. Yeah, this is definitely just, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see another touchdown for a while, because so far this is just looking like the first half. 2 really quick touchdowns. And, yeah, wow. What else is there to say? Jim Miller leading the charge there. for a really nice drive. And now I believe we're going to get an injury update, folks, on Quintana and Mike Skamizniak. Hopefully see if they're going to make their way back onto the field for the rest of this game. And Brett, I mean, it's looking exciting right now.
Yeah, and right now, boy,
Ooh.
you look at these immediately, you can already tell that they're out. Luis Quintana, fractured arm.
Oh my
That's got to be rough. You know, the SFL doctorate corps has to be pretty quick to get him back on the Denver lineup, and then a torn bicep. Hopefully, it's not on the throwing arm for Skamizniak, but man, that is massive. Both players are out tonight.
Yeah, I saw a torn bicep in the Oklahoma City game as well, just biceps being torn left and right. And I wanted to point out Quintana fractured his arm on a tackle he made. That's just if you're not putting your body on the line for tackles, what else are you doing? All right, now here we go. San Jose gonna get on the field again. We're gonna see what they can do. Kevin Parker gonna get his shot as a return there. Week 5 signing for the Flight.
Again, all eyes are going to be back on Brady White, see what he can muster up to start off the drive, because it feels like almost every drive that started off for San Jose has been a pass. I don't see that being any different.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And they're going to, they're going to go back to that look where they motion one into the backfield. Brady White going to go for the pass. He's going to drop back. So much pressure, and he does get brought down. The pressure is too much to handle. Great sack there from Michael Percoco.
The human trash panda himself in Michael Percoco. He loves raccoons. I had to say it to him, but Percoco spent most of his time as an offensive lineman over in DC. Just this season has switched over to the D line, and it seems like that's his more natural position.
Absolutely agree with you there. Brady White again to pass. He's going to fire it over the middle. He's trying to find Kevin Parker there again. We talked about him on the kick return, and unable to make the completion, making it 3rd and 16 now for the Flight.
You know, it makes it tough when you have, more than 10 yards to go to get a first down, especially after your first play ends up being a sack. So Brady White's got to be a little bit more creative, and the coaching staff needs to find something to get one of your top receivers open.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, they're going to go back to the pass. Unsurprisingly, Brady White's going to fire it over the middle, just a little bit too overthrown, but probably a good thing because the receiver was completely blanketed. Any shorter, it might have been picked off.
Yeah, and that was just perfectly placed for the defensive backs, especially Cronkworthy, who was probably the last man back on that too. And Coduty had a great route. It was just double covered by the time that ball was thrown.
Yeah, now Cronkworthy, I have the pleasure of sharing a locker room with that guy in Chicago, and I made up a nickname for him, Brett. I got to get your approval here. I've been calling him the Kronk Donkey. What do you think?
I mean, it works. It definitely works. But he just has to make sure.
It's a name.
He has to make sure he doesn't make an ass out of himself, though.
That's exactly right. And now, Jim Miller again, gonna be under center. My goodness. And now, here we go again. Miller gonna fire to the right side.
Oh my!
Just nowhere close. That is the telltale pass of a backup. That's more so what you expect rather than dots being thrown all over the field.
Yeah, and that was a case of maybe throwing that ball too high, because that was aimed for Kilgore, and he was blanketed, no problem, and he tried to throw it into an area that was completely covered.
Yeah, absolutely did. And now looks like they're going to go with a pass again. Jim Miller going to drop back, plenty of time to throw. He's going to fire again over the middle of the field. He's going to catch it and run for a little bit more. That's going to be Jamar Shelton again on a huge catch for the Cougars.
Yeah, and you were just saying earlier, DJ, that Shelton had a huge game last week, and now it's more of a second half to remember for Jamar Shelton, as he was kept relatively quiet in the first half, and now has had 2 big catches just in this third quarter alone. We're just entering the second half of this third quarter, and he's already made a huge impact in this Philly offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here comes San Jose. They're going to go some blitz here. Maybe a stunt. Jim Miller, not a stunt. A fumble.
Does he have the space?
Oh, let's see. Rashawn Williams trailing him down. It's not gonna be enough. Peter Merck with the touchdown for the Flight.
Man, and you called it early. They brought 6, and there was just not enough linemen to cover through. And Miller just had a tough time after he got smothered by the football. And there was 2 San Jose players ready to get that football, but Merck, right place, right time, had space between him and Williams. And man, talk about a guy who's got some unsuspecting speed. And John and the Merkster finds his way. This is going to be an interesting call here from Philadelphia. I think this is still a fumble.
I completely agree with you, but I don't hate the challenge. I really don't. And Brett, you've said it so many times this game. I got to give you your credit. Finally, a blindside sack that goes in the favor of how we expect it. Jim Miller gets blown up from the back and definitely looks like a fumble in my eyes.
See, I don't even know if the arm made even a throwing motion.
Yeah, it was again just one of those scenarios where he gets hit right as he takes his steps, it seemed. Looks like it stands, maybe? It does. Peter Merck gonna be credited for the touchdown. Wow, what a momentum shifter.
And man, you bring that over, first defensive touchdown of the game, and you don't see a lot of defensive touchdowns in the form of fumble recovery touchdowns in the minor league too. So that's massive for San Jose.
It is, and wow, talk about comparing it to the first half. I think they kind of blew that rhetoric up right in that play. And everybody watching this game, I gotta say it, if you're having as much fun watching this game as me and Brett are having calling it, your time's now. To get your voice on the call, we are looking for very passionate SFL participants to join our broadcast team. For the continuation of the SFLm Season 10, please visit simfl.net/broadcasting for more details on how you can get involved and be one of the biggest difference makers in the future of SFL and SFLm action here on the Virtual Football Network. I don't know about you, Barrett. Personally, one of the best decisions I've made since I joined the league.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've been broadcasting for nearly 3 years now, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this season being my first for the SFL. I did a few games at the end of last SFLm season, but really getting involved in the SFL this season has changed things a lot for me. And Rashawn Williams going to fight his way up to the 50. And as someone who has recently joined the broadcasting crew, I got to highly encourage, give it a shot if you're thinking about it or if you're on the fence. I mean, we have one of the most welcoming crews that I've ever seen. These guys are going to get you involved. They're going to be supportive, and they're going to help you every step of the way. And highly encourage giving it a shot if you're thinking about it. And now, back to some action. We have Jim Miller. Miller time under center. Let's see if he can keep the ball with the Cougars this time. We see another run, and it's just going to be tackled after just a gain of 3.
Yeah, and maybe more runs are going to occur after the fumble from Jim Miller, but right now you gotta have short memory if you're a quarterback, especially when it comes to turning the ball over, whether it's an interception or a fumble. And right now, doing the right thing is just handing off that football.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And Peter Merck, he's gonna again blow that play up. We talked about the first half how he was having a very quiet game. Not a quiet game anymore, Brett. Had that touchdown.
Not at all.
Had the tackle for loss, and Merck is certainly making his impact.
And the one thing we haven't discussed here, DJ, San Jose, criminally underrated defensive line.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Especially for a guy like Jack Big Boss on that line who's starting to make some moves over in that Indy defense. Man, it's huge.
Absolutely. Now we're going to see some play action. Jim Miller rolling out way to the left. Peter Merck tracking him down, and he's going to take off and slide. Going into second base, he's safe. But not safe enough, as it's going to make it 4th and 1.
No, and guess who was on that tackle on Jim Miller? That was Paulie again.
Wow.
Backup on backup duty, and the other backup wins. Philly punting the football away.
And Philly, you hate to not see points go up there after the big turn, after the big, letting up the defensive touchdown, I should say. And they're trying to return the punt, only bringing it to the 21, and now. Let's see what San Jose does. They've been pretty pass heavy. They've been going to those empty sets a lot. You think we'll see more of a slow pace here, try and chew some clock, or you think they're going to stick with their guns and keep firing it?
It all depends if Art Vandelay and Brady White decide to turn up the dial on the heater, because if they want to make some damage, make it the first 2-score lead of the game, this would be a prime opportunity.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be them. I fully expect them to go pedal to the metal. And now Brady White displaying that perfectly, going to find who else but Victor Rojas, tight in coverage again, able to hold on to it.
You think we're going to see another 200-yard game from Rojas? I know he's got to be dangerously close after that catch.
Yep, I think so.
I mean, we still got a quarter left to go. He only needs 13 yards.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many good quarterback receiver pairings in the SFLm. It's really just a joy to watch. And now we're going to see a huge run and a huge stiff arm. Oh my goodness. 45 just going to send a man into the turf. What a run there, bringing it to the 45.
You know, normally you see that kind of stiff arm from a Chris Komisak, a Mateo Pravado, a Pseudo Nakai, an Ike McBride, but you don't see that from, you know, a guy that small and that minute of frame.
Absolutely not. And Brady White again going to hunt down and find Victor Rojas for a gain of 6. And if I'm not mistaken, going to push him just past the midfield mark, and they are.
Yeah, right past it. They're going to say 49.5-yard line. And right now, if you're at any point, you're in enemy territory, that's the threatening marker. First time we've seen a heavy set in a while for San Jose.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to run this one again, going to 45. Who's going to fight his way? That's Ant Tim getting the huge run, breaking a few tackles and fighting their way for a first.
And he was the guy that had that stiff arm earlier, and you wouldn't expect a guy that's, you know, 5'10", $182, soaking wet, finding his way to get a stiff arm like that and pushing his way forward, bruising through for a first down.
Yeah, that's no joke. And now they have one in the backfield again, but Brady White's going to pass. He's going to throw it over the middle, finding Luis Duty in decent coverage. I mean, to tip the hat to Philadelphia, they're not playing terrible defense. It seems every time there's a catch by one of these, you know, the member of the flight, there's at least 2 or 3 guys there. These guys are just hauling it in.
Yeah, and you want that from your receivers. You want to have those open looks. And I feel like Art Vandelay has got, you know, kind of a gift on offense, because this roster structure looks like an SFL offense.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And there we go. Brady White getting slammed into the turf. Rose Steele, she's putting her mark on this one as well with a huge sack.
Yeah, a bit of an undersized defensive tackle, more of like a hybrid edge rusher kind of style, only at 275. You don't see that too often from defensive tackles and nose tackles like that, but that gives into agility to get that ability to shed through offensive tackles and get to the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just showing the display of speed, able to outrun those linemen. And that is going to be the end of the third quarter. I'm DJ Kilgannon. With me is Brett Killian doing your call tonight. Back at SFLm HQ is Alex West. And now we're going to start the fourth quarter. We're in a tight one. Right now it is San Jose of 28-21 on Philadelphia, trying to maintain their lead and hopefully for them put some more on the board. Rojas going to motion to the left side of the field, making it 3 to his left and an empty back look. 5 on the line for Philadelphia. Brady White's going to take off. He's going to slip through the line, and my goodness, what a hit. Tries to slide down, but before he can, Nixon Cooper just lights him up.
Yeah, and White didn't see anybody open, so he decided to, you know, use his own legs for that action, and he got a couple out of it, making a slightly more manageable situation on 3rd and 9 now.
Yeah, I like the decision. Yep, much better to get a few yards than turn it over. Now Brady White's going to fire to the left side and talk about turning it over. No more catches in traffic for this offense. Eaton Moss finally going to get his, picking it off right in the face of Victor Rojas.
You know, DJ, that interception is brought to you by Ty Patak's Bakery, where he's got a deal 2-for-1 turnovers. DJ, what kind of turnover do you like? I like, you know, cherry. Sometimes I like that Chicago-style turnover as well.
Yeah, I'm a little biased to the Chicago style. You know, I have it pretty often, but cherry's always been my guilty pleasure. Oh, that's good stuff. Now they're going to go back to this offset back look as they're going to motion a man across the field. That's Jamar Shelton, who's been their motion man for the majority of the night, going to be right off the line. Jim Miller going to hand it off right up the gut to Rashawn Williams, and another solid run, getting them a gain of 7.
Here's what we've seen a lot in this second half, DJ, is establishing drives for Philadelphia. It's been very successful runs to start off. They just need to find a way to finish it now because they're down 7. They need to find a way to tie this game up, and the runs are working to start off. They just need to finish it.
Yeah. We're going to do another handoff here. Going to look for Jesse Fretz on the run. Just going to be a gain of few. And again, Tommy Pauly rushing in there, getting the tackle after just a short gain.
Big third down coming up for Philadelphia. Just 2 yards to go for the first down. You've got to make sure that the offensive line is ready. I could see this being another run.
Yeah, I could as well. And with how the offense is set up, it's looking like it. And San Jose kind of looking like they're going to expect it. But the pitch is a great play call, in my opinion, giving Rashawn Williams plenty of room to run, gaining the first down.
I mean, the first 2 plays of that drive were inside runs, so it was great work from Philly to switch it up, go with an outside stretch on 3rd and 2, and it worked to perfection.
Yeah, especially with how heavily set San Jose had the other side of that line. I think it was a great play call. Now they're going to give it again to Jesse Fretz over the middle. Going to get a gain of 5, and just chugging along right now is this Philadelphia run game.
Again, I stated this earlier to start off the game, DJ. This Philly offense wants to establish that run. They want to have games of 100+, and I want to say they're pretty close to that marker, if not at it now.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they were past it, and that time just going to get bottled up. San Jose, it didn't even look like he got back to the line, but it looks like he did. San Jose just read that one, packed the box, and shut it down.
But the favorable thing for Philadelphia, it's still an open playbook on 3rd and 5. You can still go with the run, or you can kind of sling things away with the pass. They've got 3 receivers out. They've got options.
And they're going to run it right up the middle, giving it back to Fretz, and he's going to get stopped just before he can get to the line to gain. It's going to be Bobby Green. You know, such an interesting stat to me. I like to bring it up anytime Bobby Green makes a big play. Bobby Green, in his first ever play of his career, Brett, got a sack in the SFLm. I just think that's so interesting to look back at.
See, my first catch in the league was just an 8-yarder back in season 9. So that's not nearly as impressive as getting a sack.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, my first play I remember was against the Annapolis Navigators. I got a tackle on Chris Grant Jr. It was a very long time ago, SFLm season 6. So relatively to you, I guess, not very long ago. You've been here for 30 years, I guess, but
not as long as Eddie Gage, but I'm getting up there.
Yeah, I know that's right. And now San Jose going to be at the 16 try and get some offense going. Keep that foot to the floor. Empty backfield again for San Jose. Brady White's going to chuck it down the field, finding Victor Rojas. There we go, bringing it to the 30. And I love that Brady White has no fear and is very comfortable going back to Rojas after the close interception.
Yeah, not only outside the locker room he has no fear, but also in a game too, that he's got, you know, that composure to find his receivers. And Rojas has been a great benefactor, especially in the second half. And you can see those numbers continue to rise for both White and Rojas.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, again, that 200-yard performance from Victor Rojas, just stacking them up all season long, been so consistent for the flight. Now they're going to make it 3 to the left side, and I love the play call, running it, finding plenty of room as the runner there. Going to be Speedy Gonzalez, who doesn't get too many chances to take runs, but there had a really nice one.
Yeah, and you'd think a guy like Speedy Gonzalez, who's probably one of the more faster fullbacks in this league, would get more opportunities, especially for a San Jose squad. But they've changed their game plan this week to pass a little bit more. This looks like a designed ace catch and run.
Yep, it does. I fully agree with you. And a great play call it is. Great blocking to that right side. Ketchum going to stiff arm a man, and that's very similar to one of the runs we saw from Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia loaded up the opposite side of the line. San Jose ran it to the other side, and I mean, just mathematically, that's going to work.
And not only that, it was almost a carbon copy of that toss play that got Ketchum his touchdown too.
I don't know, Brady White's going to drop back again, has plenty of time, going to fire it to Luis Caduti, just in the middle of the zone. Great pitch and catch there from White to Caduti.
Yeah, and I think White's aiming for over 300 yards, and he's found one man with over 200, Now it's time to get Call Duty his love. He's at 318 now, so he's definitely over that marker. But he's starting to find love in more than just one receiver in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about, we've talked about tonight the duos in the league, right? You have Brady White to, Victor Rojas usually, but even Kaduti, you could argue. Both of them just really solid duos. You have the Goodmans over in New York. There's just so many solid duos in the SFLm, and even for Boston, you have Dakota West and Curtis Friesen out there. And, just so many solid pairings down here in the minor leagues, and it's just so exciting to watch.
Yeah, and those are guys that you're going to probably focus in on, next year when the transfer period comes in for these players. You're going to try to figure out which teams that they go to and who's going to bolster that wide receiver core.
Yeah, absolutely. And just blown up there from LJ Hobbs, who's had, a semi-quiet night. He's made a few plays, but that one really a shining spot, tackling after a very short gain, if a gain at all, and really nice play there for LJ.
Now Philly has an opportunity to kind of stop this bleeding a little bit from the San Jose offense and force them to possibly punt this football away.
Yeah, and they just got to stop them make sure they don't get 9 yards. Brady White's going to drop back, roll to his right. He's going to fire way down the field. Just an ill-advised throw there, trying to find Kaduti. And I don't hate the big shot there, trying to get it close to the end zone and put the foot on the throat of the Cougars, but that one just up in double coverage, unable to connect.
And you always got to be careful with where those defensive backs are for Philly, because there was 3 in that vicinity. I think Dumas, Worthy, and I think that might have been Kevsey Jr. in the area too. So you had both safeties in that area on the throw.
Yeah. And now they're going to punt it right at... Oh, goodness! Oh, that one was scary. It's like the second time we've seen that, but nice tackle there after the bobble for Philadelphia. Thankfully for them, able to hold on to it. And if you're Philadelphia, I think you got to be a little bit more aggressive than you have been. The run has been working, but if you run it all the way down the field right now, I think eventually you run out of time before you're able to punch it in.
DJ, we're at less than 4 to go in the game. If I'm the head coach of Philadelphia, I'd be looking at all 4 downs.
Yeah, absolutely. And now they're going to run it. What do I know? Because they're going to run it and get a first down. That's why I'm not a head coach. And they know better than me. They're going to give it to their big backer, Sean Williams. They said if it ain't broke, do not fix it. Or Sean Williams going to chug his way along for a first down.
Well, you also have to remember, DJ, you're coming from a team that passes the ball about 80% of the time in games as well. So there's no rush. It's a 7-point game. They can use all the time they need.
They can and will. Going to try and go for the big pass completion there. Going to fire it over to Jamar Shelton, who is unable to hold on. And yeah, you're right. That could be the case. Maybe I'm just not used to too many runs, especially in these scenarios where you're down. But nonetheless, Jim Miller could be the savior for Philadelphia tonight. 5 wide. He's going to have 3 to his left, 2 to his right. He's going to survey the defense. He's going to take his drop. He's going to fire it to the left side. He's going to find Jamar Shelton, who holds on to that one past midfield, and we are in the hurry up.
I like the hurry up here.
Look, I do agree. Jim Miller going to bring the pressure, and he's going to fire it away. Oh, goodness! What an interception! Stephen Goodman gonna race it down the sideline, bringing it to the 43. What a play from Goodman.
And that might have been a case of overconfidence from Jim Miller, because once that ball got slung, it was in the right area, but that was overthrown by a good yard or 2. Wow. And Goodman, man, that's great wherewithal to have the outstretched hand out and just make sure to secure it. Maybe a little extra stick 'em on that glove, but that doesn't matter. We don't even check the rules here in the minor leagues.
No,
if your hands are covered in glue sticks, we don't care.
That's right. And we had talked about, these defenders for San Jose struggling to hold on to those picks. Right there, we both just got slapped in the face by Stephen Goodman. What a one-handed catch. And now San Jose going to go in a much heavier look when it comes to the run, but Philadelphia is expecting it. Going to heavily pack that line and going to hand it off to Ant Tim, who's going to get brought down right at the stick.
And those settings in, the Madden games where you go into like advanced settings before the play, I think San Jose now is in true clock mode.
Yep. Absolutely. They're just looking to chew the clock out, and they're looking to maintain tied for first in the SFLm if they're able to pull through, and they have 2 minutes and about 45 seconds to hold on to the ball, and they will be out of here with a win, sending the Cougars home unhappy. Jim Miller certainly going to be, put on posters around Philadelphia if that's the case. And now they're going to go to a strong look to the right, and they're going to hand it off to the right. Going to be Ketchum. He's going to get tackled after a gain of 3, and if you're Philadelphia, that is a good start to getting the ball back, but still plenty of time left, and if anyone's going to get a first down here, it's going to be Brady White in the flight.
Yeah, and this is probably going to get to the 2-minute warning. So Philly has to make sure that they get a stop on third down because they only have 2 timeouts left to use. Remember, DJ, they lost that challenge earlier on trying to get the football back after the fumble, and it didn't work out for them. So it's going to be limited options for Philly.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, going to be the 2-minute warning. San Jose up by 7. Just at 2 minutes left to go, Philadelphia has 2 timeouts, 3rd and 7. I'm DJ Kilgannon with Brett Killian. This is the SFLm, brought to you by Alex West and us on the Virtual Football Network. Now let's see what they can cook up. Looks like they're going to run it again. I like the play call. They're going to pitch it, and they're going to chew a little bit more clock off. They're going to waste the timeout for Philadelphia, but they're not going to convert. Just trusting in their defense to be able to make the stop, giving Philly plenty of time to get the ball back. But with how their defense has played in this last quarter, I think it's a good decision.
Yeah, I don't mind that, especially going with the run. They didn't have to do anything too risky. And now we're going to have to see what Philadelphia brings to the table. And it's probably going to be about $1.50 left with just 1 timeout.
Yeah. And now they're going to stop them right at about the 24. Philadelphia, led by the backup, Jim Miller, after the tragic injury of Mike Skamizniak. Can we see the underdog Nick Foles story again in Philadelphia? Can they come back, put 7 on the board, and at least bring it to a tie? Jim Miller is going to be leading the charge. 1 man in the backfield. They're going to have trips to the right with a 4-man front for San Jose. Miller's going to survey the defense. He's going to look around. He's going to hand it off. No, he didn't. He's going to play action it and fire it to the right. He's going to find Toby Bonnets, and assuredly, we're going to see that timeout, and we do.
Interesting that they don't go with the hurry up on that formation, and they decide to use their lone timeout. So now they have to find a formation that's comfortable enough for them to keep moving forward with completion after completion.
Yeah, and we've seen it before. They've had, a few runs and hurry-ups, but can this quads look be the one? They're going to motion one to the right side. It's going to be Kilgore making his way in between the 2 receivers on the right. 1 man in the backfield. Jim Miller going to take his 2-step drop and find him over the middle. It's Shamar Shelton going to make the one-handed grab, and they're in hurry-up mode. Jim Miller going to be under a center again in this quads look 4 on the line. He's going to take a 5-step drop, going to fire it to the right. A completion to Jamar Shelton, getting it well past midfield. Jim Miller again under center, the same quads look. He's going to fire it again. Jamar Shelton for a gain of 7.
Hey, these quick hits are working for Philly. It's not moving them down the field far, but it's doing great work.
Jim Miller again going to find Jamar Shelton, bringing it to the 22. There is a chance. Philadelphia, they're cheering back at home. Jim Miller going to drop back again. Going to find Jamar Shelton. Going to be incomplete. Whew. Now take a deep breath, everybody.
Hey, he's finding the biggest target he can in this hurry up. I don't mind the game plan from Jim Miller, and it's gotten them close to red zone territory. This is great work from this hurry up style offense.
Yeah, really like what they're doing. And now back to this offset look we've seen so much of tonight. Really comfortable formation for him. They're going to find Kilgore on that left-hand side, and that's a face mask.
Is that going to be incidental or personal?
Oh, this is going to be huge.
Incidental.
Oh, wow. That could have been massive, and it is, regardless. That is going to be a completion. Bring them to the 9, and I think most importantly, it's going to stop the clock.
So that would have been either at the 9 or Philly would have had it at the 1-yard line. Wow. So that was massive just to have it incidental. There's still 9 yards left to go.
Jim Miller going to drop back, trips to the right. He's going to fire to the left. Oh, my goodness. Ladam McBrownski was almost the hero of Philly, but that one unable to be hauled in. Now Jim Miller has 50 seconds and just a few downs to gain 9 yards. Under the bright lights of San Jose, can this backup do it? You've got 5 wide, plenty of defenders for San Jose, looking like man defense right now. They're going to motion to the left. Going to be Goosebusters going there. Going to have a man following him. Jim Miller going to survey the defense. He's going to take a 5-step drop, firing it over the middle.
Oh!
Touchdown, Philadelphia!
Wow! Miller, composure set at maximum, throws it into such dangerous territory, but Shelton, like the hands of God, places his hands where it needs to be, and now Philadelphia, extra point away from tying this game, but the biggest question here, did they leave too much time for Brady White?
Honestly, I think Philadelphia and Jim Miller and everybody on that side is just happy they were able to push it in. But I think you could be right. Brady White in this offense, they have 47 seconds and 3 timeouts. They can do it. We know they can. They scored in the first half with, I'm sure, less than 47 seconds. I can't remember exactly. But my goodness. Whew, let's see what they can do. Let's see if Philadelphia will be able to hold them and try and make it overtime, or if San Jose is going to crush the hopes of everyone in Philadelphia.
You know, these are the stories that you want to tell your kids, you know, when you're done playing football and telling yourself, hey, I led a team to a game-winning drive with just 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Those are the things you dream of when you're growing up as a football player.
Yep. Now, if you're San Jose, you just cannot have a turnover. Even if you are unable to score, you're going to go to overtime. But of course, with 3 timeouts, they want a touchdown. They're going to be in this very familiar empty set. Going to be a dime look now for Philadelphia. Brady White's going to take a 3-step drop. He's going to survey the field. He is going to find number 11. He's going to run forward, looking like a gain of 7 there. That one's going to be Aiden Texera, excuse me.
I don't hate that play. I think White was looking to go deep, but there wasn't really any options down there. So he went with his check down in Texera, got 7 yards. They had to use their first timeout.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't hate the decision. I'm right there with you. And now White under center again. A very heavy defensive look to that right side. He's going to drop back, some pressure being brought, and he's going to fire it over the middle, finding that familiar face in Victor Rojas for the completion, leaving 1 timeout on the board for San Jose.
Yeah, and if they want to get to field goal range, they still need probably another 20-25 yards in order to make it comfortable. So you're not in really safe territory yet if you're San Jose.
Yeah, and we see that middle of the field being so dominant. If I'm Philadelphia, I'm going to try and watch it, and they're playing super far off the receivers. Not sure if I completely agree with that one, but Brady White's going to drop back. He's going to fire it to the left side. Rojas is unable to hold on, leaving 25 seconds left on the clock for the flight with a timeout in their pocket. Going to be 2nd and 10.
They motioned Rojas over to the left, and he was going to be their main target. Kind of used a corner that turned into a post. It didn't really quite work for him, but so 2nd down coming up.
All right, here we go. 5 wide for Brady White. This is your time to shine, young man. He's going to drop back and fire it to the right. Forced incompletion there by 47, able to get his paw on it and slap it down.
Yeah, the first time we've seen a target from Kevin Parker in a little while as well. Yeah. So it's not just going for his reliable receivers. He's just trying to find anyone open. I don't mind that from Brady White.
Here we go. 3rd and 10. We have 21 seconds and a timeout for San Jose. We have 1 in the backfield, 3 to the left. Whew. Brady White's going to drop back. Plenty of pressure. He's going to fire it to the left. Whoa. Incomplete. Philly holds strong. They force a 4th down for Brady White. Now, if you are San Jose, I don't hate going for it here. Maybe that's because I have a gambler's mindset.
No, they're punting it.
Yeah, they're going to punt it. Probably a smart decision, but I mean, again, that's why I'm not a head coach. But they're going to punt it. Hopefully they can have a good punt and pin them deep. And looks like they are going to have one unless it can go to the back of the end zone, which it isn't. What a punt. Going to slap it down at the 4. If Philadelphia can score from here, Brett, I will have seen it all.
I was just going to say, DJ, do you want to bet money on a 96-yard touchdown?
Are you betting for or against?
We'll decide after the fact.
I'm gonna have to hold my tongue. Now, let's see. Jim Miller, it's Miller time, baby. Philadelphia's cheering from home, and he's gonna fire it to the left to Jamar Shelton. No magic is gonna happen, and the clock is going to run to 0. Folks, we are gonna see a 5th quarter.
Dude, free football. How could you not like this, DJ?
Exactly. I mean, this is SFLm action. This is what we're here for. We're here to see these young men, young women make a name for themselves. Now let's see who gets the coin toss. Arguably the most important play of any overtime.
This is where legends are made in the minor leagues.
San Jose receives. Jim Miller, the hero of Philadelphia, going to have to watch from the sideline and let his defense do their job. All right, now, some more football. I am DJ Kilgannon, and here with me in the booth is Brett Killian, Alex West back at SFLm HQ. And folks, if you haven't hit the like button yet, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you fell asleep. I know it's pretty late, but if you haven't, you better smash it here soon, because we have another quarter. Overtime number 1 starting now. San Jose has the ball.
And always what we see, especially in the SFL major leagues, is first drive dominance by, that first drive offense. Can San Jose bring that magic and get themselves at least a field goal? You have to remember, in the rules here, first score wins. Doesn't have to be a touchdown. It could be a field goal too.
Mm-hmm. Now they have a good chunk of yardage to go. Brady White going to be under center, and now with plenty of time, they can maybe go to the run if they want to, but they're not going to. Brady White, so much time to throw. He's going to throw it over the middle, and all he's going to find is the hands of a Cougar. That's Kronk donkey worthy with that one.
Man, and that's a little bit risky for Brady White, especially in overtime. You want to make sure those throws are at the right place. He zipped that baby, and Worthy was in the right place, almost had his full hands on the football.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Philly, unable to haul it in now. Going to be 2nd and 10 for Philadelphia. Brady White going to fire it over the middle, and Rojas going to haul it in for the one-handed catch. Hit by Kev Say Jr. to bring him down. And who else is he going to fire to but Rojas?
Yeah, and that's got to be the nice hands catch of the game, brought to you by the 80 Gauge Retirement Home, where if you played over 15 seasons, this might be the place for you. 80 Gauge's Retirement Home. Call 555-1234.
He's somewhere throwing his fist up in the air at you, I'm sure, from his bed in the retirement
He's probably
home.
taking a nap. He's been sick all week.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Now Brady White going to fire again, going to be caught by Kadudi, putting it right at the 50, it looks like, if not a little bit forward of it. Now, Brady White in this offense looking good.
Again, we have to go back to the statement that we said before. The most comfortable position for a field goal right now would be at minimum the 25-yard line.
Yep. Got a little bit more room to work with, and it looks like they're in a pretty heavy run look now, and Philadelphia looks like they're expecting it, packing that box full. They're going to run it to the left, catch him, going to hit a man as he barrels forward, going to fight for a first down. Great run there, eventually going to get brought down by Zachary Babineau.
I like that from San Jose, because you don't have to force a pass every time, especially when it comes to that extra frame. There doesn't need to be that sense of desperation. It's not like it's going to be your last drive ever of the season, and you have to sling that rock down the field. You can run that football too and get the first down. Yeah,
I absolutely agree with you. I would, if it was me, I would definitely run a little bit more than pass, but let's see what they're going to do. Brady White has one in the backfield. Going to bring some pressure. It's Philadelphia. That's going to be another sack, and it's Don Rohr.
And that was just no pressure from the offensive line. Nobody to come to help. And again, the blind side has been hurting both quarterbacks in this game. They've been hit from their backs plenty of times already.
Yeah, absolutely. And Don Rohr had the big sack early in the game, and haven't called his name much since then, but what a bigger spot to make a play than there. Making it 2nd and 16 for San Jose, right at about the 47. Brady White's going to drop back. More pressure being brought. He's going to fire it.
Wow.
Kadudi with the catch in traffic. It's been the story of the entire contest. Another one caught in traffic.
That is simply just one-on-one. Who is the better player between Coduty and Eaton Moss? And Coduty says to himself, "Hey, you might be on a team in the majors, but I got to make some noise." Over
Oh,
100
yeah.
yards for Coduty at probably the best moment in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one advantage these new rookies have. They want it more. They want to prove themselves, and
There it is.
Rojas gonna catch it, and assuredly, that is gonna be the dagger to the throat of the Cougars. And now, Brett, I will say, I've called a few SFLm games. I have seen misses from this distance. I don't want to
hmm
jinx anybody, but it's definitely possible.
This
But
one's a little bit closer, but it looks like White's still out there, so they're gonna go for the jugular.
as long as they run, if I see a pass, I'm going to be disappointed. And it
Oh, you're
looks
already
like they're going to
disappointed.
pass. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Brady White going to drop back. He's going to fire it to the left, and Rojas is not going to be in the position to make the catch. Not a bad one from Brady White, and I see what he's doing. He's trying to just keep it as far away from the corner as he can. But if that's your goal, why not just run the ball?
I think what Art Vandelay is seeing on the sideline is that, hey, I've got at least 3 chances to at least hit the end zone, and then we can settle for a game-winning field goal. That's no problem with me. And they're going pass happy again, and they're going to overload that one side.
Yeah, as long as they don't slip up, they just can't have a turnover. They cannot. Brady White under center. He's going to take a few step drop. They're bringing pressure. He's going to fire it to the left. He's
Uh-oh.
going to break a tackle, and he's going to push him out at the 5. It's 3rd and goal. Sanj Singh going to bring it to the 5.
Now, I've seen this happen a couple times. I would be not too shocked if they decide to run it here on 3rd and goal.
Yeah. They're going to bring
Oh,
out
wow.
the field goal unit. Let's see. 21 yards, assuredly a chip shot, but we have seen crazier things.
It's off the left hash,
It
too.
is. Let's see. The kick is up, and it is right down the uprights. San Jose gonna put the dagger in it. Whew, what a game.
And we can wipe off the last glistening of sweat off our foreheads, DJ. This fantastic game is over, and my goodness, like I said, overtime, the most important drive of them all is that first drive, and San Jose took care of business. The final drive, 10 plays, over 3 minutes of action to get that field goal, and they can kind of breathe easy because Philadelphia, they were a tough cookie, even with backup Jim Miller giving them fits.
Yeah, Jim Miller, I'm going to start calling him Josh Allen because he lost the coin toss and it lost the game for him. My goodness. They won the most important play of that overtime in the coin toss. San Jose able to take charge, and it worked out in their favor. Now, Brett, I got to ask, your game ball, who you tossing it to?
Yeah, you know what? As much as Brady White had a great performance, he couldn't have done it without the fantastic comeback game from Victor Rojas. Look at that, nearly 250 yards of receiving action. That's over half the yards that Brady White got in the game. He needed a good Victor Rojas tonight, and they got him.
Yeah, I'm going to give mine to Brady White, but I have to give my tip of the cat to Peter Merck on that huge fumble recovery touchdown. Just such an exciting play. And everybody, this has been SFLm action. 31-28, San Jose takes the overtime win by a field goal. I have been DJ Kilgannon. Next to me has been Brett Killian and Alex West back at SFLm HQ. Everybody, thank you for joining us and have a great night.
Boo-doo.